Polling is okay, but the reason I always cover the quarterly fundraising numbers for the major parties in Canada is because I think it gives a better insight into how people are actually feeling about that party. Yes, they might select them in an IVR or online poll because they voted for them last time, but I feel like when you actually are able to pull out your wallet and give that party money, that is more representative of who you believe in. And the fundraising numbers have remained awful for the Liberal Party of Canada, no matter how hard they go after Pierre Poilievre, no matter how many times they pretend that they have a fresh new face on their government by shuffling around the cabinet or coming out with a new bloated policy. It's remained terrible for the Liberals. Here is what things are currently looking like. So, in the third quarter, the federal Conservatives were able to fundraise 8.44 million. The Liberals brought in 3.32 million, NDP 1.27 million. Wonder why those guys don't want to go into a federal election. And the Green Party brought in 379,000, Bloc 356,000, and the PPC should pack it in because they only brought in 202,000 this quarter. And Maxime Bernier gets paid above six figures for running a party that's not winning seats. But to get into this, I think that this is a really big confidence index from the Liberal donor base. Obviously, the vast majority of Canadians never donate, but donations should come in ratio or should at least represent your ratio of support. Because if, let's say 50% of Canadians supported your party, you would hope that generally around 50% of the donations that quarter were going to you. Right now, you could add up all of the parties other than the Conservatives, and they would not be more than the Conservatives. They would be well under what the Conservatives are currently bringing in. They'd only be past like 6 million in terms of fundraising. It's absolutely pathetic. And it's because nobody actually thinks that Justin Trudeau can win. He can't go down Bay Street and ask people for maxed out donations because even if it might not mean much for these people to give him $1,750, they know it's immediately going to be burned and nothing's going to come of it. And that's why we're even seeing a story today. I'm not sure if you've heard of this, that Jagmeet Singh and Justin Trudeau are having secret backroom meetings to change the Elections Act so that they can make sure all the NDP and Liberal MPs who have served between 2019 and now get their pensions so they don't fall short by a couple weeks. Remember when that first came out that they were going to extend the election date like a week and a half or so that Jagmeet, not Jagmeet himself, because he was actually elected midsummer or so, since he was like elected in a by election before the 2019 election. But this is making sure all of his own MPs get their pensions. And then when that was discovered by the public, they're like, just kidding. And then they moved the date back. And now they're trying to secretly move the date forward again. Oh my goodness. You gotta love Jagmeet Singh and how incompetent he is. He's like a sitcom character and not a particularly bright one. But obviously, third quarter fundraising, it's a little bit more sluggish. It's the summer, people are on vacation. It's the holiday season that tends to be the really, really big donation time. That's when parties really rack up their big donation numbers. And what I want to highlight here with the Liberals, with having terrible donation numbers here, only 3.32 million, is that is less than some provincial parties bring in. Yes, a provincial party in a good quarter will bring in more than that, not just the average quarter, obviously. But the fact that a provincial party can bring in more money than the federal Liberals while working with a tiny fraction of the population is utterly pathetic. Yes, in different provinces, you can donate far more than $1,750, but still, that still would disadvantage when you actually add all these factors up the provincial parties versus the federal party. And I just want to quickly see what the Alberta donation limit is, just because I think this will highlight how pathetic this is even more than I already think. Because I don't think it's as big as currently. Yeah, I think it goes up to like 2,300 or 2,500 or something like that. Might be like 3,000, but still, right now, like a lot in 2023, in the fourth quarter of 2023 or so, or second quarter of 2023, the UCP brought in $4.4 million, and I've seen other quarters where they were at 3.5 million, and this is after the provincial election when the UCP had already won the provincial election. They are absolutely destroying the Liberal fundraising. And again, it's because nobody likes the Liberals. And I'm going to show you why nobody has confidence in the Liberals, because the Liberals have released a new, both advertisement on their behalf as well as an attack on Pierre Poilievre. And it's so dull. It's so, who cares? Conservatives nasty, conservatives fascist and far right and bad. Vote for us because we're spending money. Is it good money? Is it we're actually doing anything good? Who cares?
When it comes to strengthening our public healthcare system, the Liberal team is fighting for you. After they secured vaccines to protect Canadians from COVID-19, they made investments to hire more family doctors and reduce wait lists. Now they're rolling out dental care, and they're getting pharmacare done to deliver free contraceptives and diabetes medications. Pierre Poilievre has made it clear that he would make cuts to all these investments, removing healthcare services from millions of Canadians. Canadians need progress, not cuts. We won't go back.
It's so bad. It's just, oh my goodness. It's just so dull. We've heard this 70 times before. The conservatives are going to cut things. They're going to steal your pet. They're going to push your grandmother down the stairs. And like, no, they're not. Your guys' bloated programs don't help out anybody. You're just threatening Canadians, like I've said so many times before, with a good time. You can't just say, well, they're going to cut things. What are they going to cut? It's like if you were in like a family and you were having to make budget decisions on what you're going to spend like the family budget on. Just an example. And like one member of the family is just constantly saying, "Well, this person just wants to stop spending. They're taking money away from us. They want to reduce our, entertainment budget." And then you realize that we have like 15 streaming services and they're just proposing getting rid of half of them because we don't even watch them. Nobody actually thinks that's a bad thing. And that's the great thing about Justin Trudeau, for a second, I'm going to say, is that he's made Canadians fiscally conservative because they realize that government spending has nothing to do with your quality of life. You can raise spending all you want and quality of life will not increase. This has just happened in British Columbia. All of the government spending has resulted in actual job contractions. There are fewer jobs in BC as the government keeps spending more money because private companies have to lay people off or they go bankrupt completely. And then all this means that the wage pool goes, or the income pool goes down. And now the government, in order to hire more government workers, has to then increase inflation and taxes and then ends up killing the blood bag that it's using to pay for it all. It's stupid. Everyone knows how many of these federal jobs are what we call fake jobs. People going in and logging into a computer to play Tetris all day. There's a reason why people call it club fed, because you don't do any work, you have meetings about meetings, and you put together memos or memorandums and reports and research papers on nothing. Things that people will never read, that your boss looks at and says, yes, very good, Trevor, and then just puts it in some like burning barrel because nobody is going to read your report on the diversity of bike lanes or whatever. And that was a real thing in Calgary. We had like a diversity coordinator for bike lanes and then also for public transportation. Ridiculous spending. I'm actually about to go to the UCP AGM, and that's also something I have a big, big gripe with in Alberta. Danielle Smith can talk like a firebrand, but I need her to cut spending. Spending is higher than it ever has been before, and it's not just because of inflation it's been going up. I mean, like, it jumped when she got into office, and we are spending on like DEI and ESG nonsense and promoting net zero stuff. We have an anti-racism grant fund. It's like, just cut it. Just cut it. And people are going to be like, oh, why? It's only $7 million. It's only 7 million. It's only 70 people's household incomes. What? Just get rid of the stuff. I don't like the idea that, well, it's better than Trudeau. Even Trudeau, if he was the Alberta premier, would seem fiscally conservative because we have such high oil revenues. So our deficits wouldn't be as bad if you were to like assume that the Alberta economy was like the entire Canadian economy. We would look better, but that doesn't mean that wasteful spending is good at all. So I hope more people become very hawkish on fiscal issues, and it looks like they are mostly because of the bad governance of people like Justin Trudeau. Anyways, that's it for me today, guys. If you want to help support the show, go donate in the description below to the Give, Send, Go link there. It's also pinned at the top of the comments. And if you want to sign up onto my website, WyattClaypool.com, you can sign up on the contact form and I can give good leadership recommendations, nomination recommendations for any part of the country. whether I know about them or not. If I don't know about them, always send me an email, and then I can basically look into the race, see who I would potentially vote for. There's a few leadership races actually probably about to happen across the country right now in Manitoba and New Brunswick. So especially if you live in those provinces, sign up to that list so I can kind of keep you in the loop on who's an actual conservative and who's just simply trying to play games to get into office. Anyways, that's it for me today, guys. Have a good one.